The top stories tonight in Y News. The National Privacy Commission probes into the alleged leak of over 1.2 million employee and applicant records of various government agencies. Lawyer of former Bureau of Corrections Director General Gerald Banta denies knowledge of his client's alleged plan to surrender. The Department of Foreign Affairs reminds all Filipinos in Sudan who wants to go home will not be allowed to return in the country once repatriated. And AU International research reveals that the melting of Earth's ice sheets have gone into hyperdrive. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Friday, April 21, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harin Delgado. First in the news, the lawyer of former Bureau of Corrections Director General Gerald Banta said that he has no knowledge of his client's alleged plan to surrender. Dante Almento tells us why.
In a text message to UNTV News, Attorney Rocky Balisong, legal counsel of Bantag, said he cannot confirm nor deny the alleged plan of his client to surrender and added that he has no knowledge of the issue. Yesterday, Justice Secretary Crispin Rimulya disclosed that Bantag called a cabinet secretary about his intention to surrender.
He spoke to my colleague, one of my colleagues in the cabinet, to say that he may wish to surrender.
Hence, they are not hurrying up the law enforcement against him.
That's why we are not pushing for law enforcement to hurry up the process. But of course, it is the job of law enforcement still to enforce the warrant of arrest.
In his recent pronouncement, Bantag said that he will not surrender, though an arrest warrant will be issued against him if Secretary Rimulya remains in his post. Dante Almento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Commission on Elections or COMELEC Chairman George Erwin Garcia said the proposal of Senator Francis Tolentino to postpone the Barangayan Sangguniang Kabataan Elections or BSKE in Negros Oriental should be seriously and carefully studied, though they have the power to postpone the election in an area. Garcia added that the postponement will also only be for 30 days. COMELEC spokesperson John Rex Laudianco further explained that Tolentino may also ask Congress to amend Republic Act 11935, the law which mandates that BSKE will be held on October 30, 2023. The Department of Foreign Affairs reminds all Filipinos in Sudan who wants to go home will not be allowed to return in Sudan once repatriated. Janice and Hente will tell us why.
Due to the ongoing civil unrest in Khartoum, Sudan, the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, advised all Filipinos in the area to decide whether they want to be repatriated or relocated. DFA Undersecretary Eduardo de Vega says Filipinos who wish to go home will no longer be allowed to return to Sudan. This is because Sudan is still under Alert Level 2 or restricted phase due to instability that threatens the lives, security, and properties of Filipinos since 2019. De Vega says the Philippine Embassy is now updating the list of Filipinos in Sudan to send them help and facilitate repatriation.
Lately, mga 258 ang alam ng embassy. Pero simula na nangyari itong conflict, mas marami na nag-i-email sa kanila para sabihin nandito kami, at kamusta ng kalagayan nila. Nangyari ito sa mga ibang bansa, pag wala na talagang putukan, nakakampante mga ibang Pilipino. Pero ito yung sinabi ko, under yung alert level natin sa Sudan, hindi dapat magtrabaho po doon. Not yet, kasi hindi pa stable.
Some Filipinos in Sudan want to be repatriated, while some have decided to stay despite the clashes.
Decidido na po ako, repatriation po ako dahil talagang yun na po ang gusto ko. Ayoko na pong maranasan uli. Kung mauulit man to, ayoko na pong makaranas uli ng ganitong kaguluhan dahil hindi ko na po kakayanin.
Ang napili ko po ay evacuation kasi po hindi pa kami nag-uusap ng amo ko kung ano talaga ang desisyon din ng amo ko.
Evacuation din ako. Kasi hindi ko pa nga nakakausap yung amo ko. At hindi lang kasi isa ang amo ko dito eh. Anim sila.
De Vega says they will still prioritize the sending of food and water assistance to the Filipinos who were trapped in their places. He added that they are now coordinating with the Philippine Embassy in Egypt to provide funds for the conduct of rescue operations. Janice Enhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And foreign news abroad. After over 10 years of development, SpaceX's Starship made its very first flight but exploded midway through the test process. Therese Longbowen will tell us why live. Yes, Therese, good evening.
Good evening, Marielle. 4 minutes after the launch, Starship reached altitudes of 39 kilometers but started to lose altitude due to multiple engine outages. So a flight termination was commanded for both the booster and the ship. History was made after SpaceX's first test launch of the Starship, the tallest and most powerful rocket ever made. The launch was initially scheduled to take flight on April 17, but SpaceX postponed it due to technical problems. The rocket was launched from South Texas at 9:33 a.m. local time, while SpaceX's CEO Elon Musk watched from the Texas control room. Musk and the SpaceX team tweeted that the flight was a success and there are many things that can be improved on. The company plans on conducting another test launch later this year. The rocket was unmanned during the test and no injuries or property damage were reported. Nearby roads are expected to remain closed for another day. Back to you, Marielle.
Thank you, Therese Longbowen, for that live report. India will overtake China as the world's most populous country with almost 3 million people, or 3 million more people, by the end of June 2023, according to data released on Wednesday by the United Nations Population Fund, or UNFPA. For the first time since 1960, China's population declined last year while India continued to rise. The economic consequences of India exceeding China will be significant for both Asian giants. In 2022, China reported one of the worst economic growth rates in nearly 50 years, highlighting the nation's difficulties, including a decline in the labor force and an increase in the number of retirees. However, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin said that a country's demographic dividend depends not only on its quantity, but also on the quality and talent, and development momentum remains strong. China also mentioned that it is implementing a national strategy to address population aging, changes in population development, and supports the three-child policy. Meanwhile, the new United Nations report also expects the global population to reach 8.045 billion by the end of June, with nearly 1 in 5 people on the planet being Indian. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Marielle. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. An investigation is now underway, led by the National Privacy Commission, into the alleged massive data breach involving millions of records from law enforcement agencies. This report will tell us why. The National Privacy Commissioner (NPC) met with various government agencies to discuss an alleged data leak. This was after cybersecurity firm VPN Mentor claimed a massive data breach involving over 1.2 million employee and applicant records of several law enforcement agencies. The alleged leaked documents contain sensitive information such as birth certificates, passports, police IDs, NBI clearance, and tax filing records. In a statement, Privacy Commissioner John Henry Naga said the National Bureau of Investigation, the Civil Service Commission, and the Bureau of Internal Revenue have confirmed that there were no data breaches on their part. However, the Philippine National Police, or PNP, requested for more time to review its systems for possible security compromise. In a bid to further investigate the alleged data breach, the NPC is set to conduct an on-site investigation in the data processing system of the PNP on Monday, April 24. Earlier, the PNP said it is investigating the matter.
The data breach is being investigated by our ACG. So we just have to wait what happened at bakit na pasok yung ating system. We are waiting yung report ng ating ACG pertaining to the data breach.
Naga is calling on government agencies and even the private sector to review its implementation of data privacy and cybersecurity measures, noting that they must be proactive in identifying potential vulnerabilities in their systems. He adds the alleged data breach involving law enforcement agencies should serve as a reminder that no organization, not even the government, is exempted from threats of cyber attacks. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. The Land Transportation Office has decided to extend the validity of driver's licenses that are set to expire this coming April 24, 2023. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Due to the limited supply of plastic cards used to print driver's licenses, the Land Transportation Office, or LTO, will be extending the validity of existing driver's licenses of motorists. According to LTO Chief Assistant Secretary J.R. Tugade, those who are holding driver's licenses that will expire on April 24 or later will be extended until October 31 of this year. This is while the Department of Transportation, or DOTR, is still in the process of procurement to obtain the supply of plastic cards.
Nagdesisyon po ang LTO na gawin ito dahil ayaw po namin na dagdagan ang abala sa mga motorista. Patuloy kaming nakikipag-ugnayan rin po sa DOTR tungkol po sa procurement process na kanilang ginagawa.
LTO said they will also waive late penalties for the driver's license whose validity is extended. The agency hopes that the DOTR will expedite the procurement process of plastic cards to allow them to print driver's licenses. The LTO chief advises deputized traffic law enforcement to honor driver's licenses whose validity will be extended starting April 24, 2023. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, saved the 85 passengers of the MV Kokalion Filipina Cebu that ran aground in Maigo Point, Lanao del Norte around 6 p.m. yesterday, April 20, with most of them successfully brought back to Cebu, including 5 infants. The PCG's initial investigation suggests that human error may have been the reason behind the ship running aground. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
The passengers of MV Kokalion Filipina Cebu were traveling to Cebu where it ran aground in the Lukulan Show, Barangay Dango, Ozami City around 6 in the evening on April 20. The ship was en route from Iligan Port to Ozami City to pick up some passengers when the incident happened. Because of PCG's timely response, the passengers were evacuated immediately.
From there, pinakain, tapos they decided since may isa pang barko going bound for Cebu, in Francia. So they decided to nakisuyo sila na pagkapwede doon na lang sumakay.
According to the station commander of the Coast Guard station in Misamis Occidental, Lieutenant Senior Grade Carlos Barney Bayeta Jr., and based on the initial investigation, it suggests that human error may have caused the ship to run aground.
Nakikita namin, sir, based sa mga evidences na may cause nga na human error yung incident, sir.
Based on the initial details, the ship reportedly ran aground on the Lukulan Shoal after being unable to maneuver due to the strong water current.
Naugsa natin sa kanila, sir, medyo malaki yung tapadpad nila papuntang kanan, which may cause nga, sir, nung na-find out natin na may isa siya sa mga dahilan kung bakit sila nabahura, sir. Then, upon investigation din, sir, sa kapitan, medyo nag-rely masyado si kapitan sa mga equipment on board.
Today, the Maritime Casualty Investigation Team of the PCG from Region 10 will be going to ship's location to conduct a deeper investigation to find the root cause of the ship running aground. The PCG is also thankful to the prompt action carried out by the local government and the Philippine Ports Authority of Ozami City to look after the well-being of the stranded passengers. Early this morning, the PCG also conducted an inspection on the vessel to check for any defect and added some solid curtain spill boom as a preventive measure in case of oil spill. The PCG has further confirmed that the 34 crew members that were also aboard the ship are in safe condition. Alan Manansala, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Heat index may reach its peak for the month of May, according to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAG-ASA. Meanwhile, PAG-ASA advises the public to stay hydrated amid the possible effects of El Nino. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAG-ASA, has reported that the heat index for the month of May may be higher than the heat index recorded this month.
Ina-expect po kasi natin during the month of May, doon po natin natatala yung mga matataas na heat index. Sa katunayan, last year, ang pinakamataas po nating na record na heat index ay 55 degrees Celsius sa Dagupan. Ito po ay nangyari ng May 1, 2022.
According to Dr. Marcelino Villafuerte, Chief of Climate Impact Assessment and Application Section Climatology and Agrometeorology Division, the heat index recorded at 2 p.m. yesterday in the province of Dagupan was 43 degrees Celsius. Villafuerte added that on Sunday, April 23, the heat index in the province of Cabanatuan City may hit its peak at 49 degrees Celsius.
Ngayon pong long weekend, particularly April 23 by Sunday, about 49 degrees Celsius po yung posible natin maitala sa gawin ng Cabanatuan City po ito. Simula po noong March 1 hanggang kahapon, April 20, ang pinakamataas po nating naitalang heat index ay 47 degrees Celsius. Ito po ay sa San Jose, Occidental Mindoro, natala po natin noong March 25.
Meanwhile, a possible El Nino may take effect around June, July, and August this year.
Kapag ka El Nino, base po sa records natin, mas kakunti ang mga tropical cyclones pero mas malalakas po sila gawa ng nagagaling sila mas malayo pa sa karagatang Pasipiko. So nag-collect sila ng energy sa taas na temperatura ng sea surface temperature. So yun po, kaya kapag ka El Nino po ay mas malalakas po ang mga bagyo.
PAG-ASA also continuously advises the public to avoid prolonged exposure during direct sunlight and to drink glasses of water to stay hydrated.
Iwasan po sana natin yung prolonged exposure natin lalo na sa labas ng ating bahay, particularly during around 10 to about 3 p.m. Ito yung taasan ng katirikan ng araw. And then palagian po sana tayong mag-rehydrate, uminom tayo ng tubig.
Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Health has seen an 85% increase in dengue cases in the country from 16,154 cases recorded from January to March 25 last year to 29,855 cases in the same time frame this year.
Medyo tumaas po at actually sa data na nasagap namin, halos na 200+% po compared to last year.
According to Dr. Jose Rene de Grano, president of Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines, there is also an increase of admission in the hospitals because of dengue. In fact, hospital utilization in private hospitals already reached 200%. The recent monsoon rains experienced in the country before the dry season is said to be one of the reasons why cases went up.
Bago dumating yung ating tinatawag na dry season o yung pag-init ng ating klima, medyo tumagal din po around lumampas tayo ng February to March, na medyo madalas din yung monsoon rain. Yun po ang palagay ko ang naging cause, kaya tumaas po ang dami ng ating dengue cases.
The attack on the United States Embassy in Khartoum, Sudan, prompted the preparations for the evacuation of U.S. Embassy staff for their safety. Annie Mancilia will give us the details live. Yes, Annie, go ahead.
Marielle, the U.S. Embassy convoy in the capital of Sudan, Khartoum, was attacked on Monday after the fight between the Sudan Armed Forces, or SAF, and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, continue to escalate. According to U.S. officials, a large group of troops is being assembled to send to their base in Djibouti in anticipation of a potential evacuation of U.S. Embassy staff from Sudan. The State Department was warned U.S. citizens in Sudan to stay sheltered indoors, as security in Khartoum remains unstable. They added that the U.S. is not able to coordinate a safe government evacuation. The RSF has said it agreed to a 72-hour ceasefire from 4 a.m. GMT, but there has been no response from the Sudanese army after 2 failed attempts at a ceasefire. Currently, the most brutal fighting is concentrated in the country's capital, Khartoum. However, violence continues to escalate across the nation, pushing the country to be considered a humanitarian catastrophe, according to the United Nations. Meanwhile, as the Sudanese airports are not functional, the U.S. is looking at Djibouti as a possible location for the evacuation. Various nations are also preparing and planning to evacuate foreigners from Sudan. Back to you, Marielle.
Thank you, Annie Mancilia, for that live report. In other news, a new international research using multiple satellite surveys reveals the melting of Earth's ice sheets have gone into hyperdrive. Marvi Delphin tells us why.
Over the last 30 years, the Earth's ice sheets have lost enough ice to create an ice cube almost 20 kilometers high. In a report released on Thursday, April 20, a team of international scientists revealed that the Earth's ice sheets are shrinking at a rapid pace. The comprehensive study combined data from 50 satellite surveys and tracked changes in the volume and ice flow of Antarctica and Greenland, which hold almost all of the world's freshwater ice. The rate of ice loss is now 5 times higher in Greenland and 25% higher in Antarctica compared to the early 1990s. The 7,560 billion tons of ice lost from the North and South Poles have pushed up global average sea levels by 21 millimeters. Lead author Ines Otasaka from the University of Leeds says this is very worrying, considering 40% of the global population lives in coastal areas. Otasaka also warns that this could result in a much higher sea level rise in the future, which threatens flooding, and now is the time to start planning mitigations, if not already doing so. Marvi Delphin, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Mariela Toza reporting live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
It will take another 1.5 to 2 months before the remaining oil from the motor tanker MT Princess Empress, which sank off Oriental Mindoro on February 28, is completely removed. However, this will depend on the sea wave conditions in the area. The company has given a timeline of 7 days for their technical assessment, an additional 7 days for the arrival of the equipment in the country, and 21 days for the oil removal operation. In total, 8 leaks out of the 11 seen on the motor tanker have been covered. However, there was no remotely operated vehicle in the area to replace a specialized bag that was temporarily applied to the leaks. In the last report of the Philippine Coast Guard, it was mentioned that the specialized bag is already saturated.
Kaya sa lalong madaling panahon, dapat dumating dito yung siphoning machine na nakalagay sa platform na barko, magawa yung trabaho niya. Without that, mapupuno yun eh. Problema ho talaga yun.
Continuous monitoring is being done by the Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office after observing some ground cracks in Barangay Cristo Rey, Camarines Sur. There's a possibility of soil erosion in the province once it is encountered with strong rains. Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police investigates the true motive as well as the identity of the suspect of the shooting event towards a member of the Department of Education in Inabanga, Bohol. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
The Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office or MDRRMO is continuously monitoring the area of Barangay Cristo Rey in Camarines Sur due to observed ground cracks. This is because strong rain could trigger possible soil erosion in the province. Earlier, an ocular inspection and validation report was conducted after the cracks were found in the area. As a precautionary measure, the MDRRMO and LGU Baao have distributed relief goods to the affected residents. A school supervisor in the North District named Noel Duavis, 54, was killed after being ambushed and shot by an unknown suspect riding in tandem in Inabanga, Bohol. The incident happened along the highway in Barangay Lapacan Sur. As per the report of the Inabanga Municipal Police Station, the victim was shot by the back rider of a motorcycle carrying 2 suspects wearing bonnets and jackets. The police immediately responded and found the victim unconscious inside the vehicle. He was rushed to the Francisco Dagoy Hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival by the attending doctor. Authorities are investigating the motive and possible identification of the suspects. Authorities are investigating the motive and possible identification of the suspects. Alan Manansala, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Former Side A band member Joey G will have his second dinner concert at the KDR Adventure Camp in Orani, Bataan this coming Sunday, April 23, 2023. The concert, entitled KDRAC at Night, Love Under the Stars, will also feature the Strum Jam Band and stand-up comedian Orca. Meanwhile, the first ever dinner concert held last Sunday, April 16, was very successful. The event was jam-packed with attendees from Manila, Cavite, and other provinces. Aside from concerts and events, KDRAC or KDR Adventure Camp is also known as a sports and recreation getaway, such as motocross escapades, camping, team building, and much more. For those who haven't watched last week's concert, you still have a chance to watch their performance again this coming Sunday at 7 p.m. at the same venue. Those who want to attend this one-of-a-kind concert may contact their official Facebook page for ticket reservations or call 0927-558-8574. Our Kasangbahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands, and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament. There is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Psalms, chapter 27, verse 14. It says, "Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and He shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord." And those are the reasons behind the news, April 21, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Harleen Delgado. We serve the people, we give glory to God.